Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to today's episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Thursday, April 9th, 2020. Interesting thing today is, remember, tomorrow the market's closed. So today is technically the last day of the week to trade. So we're heading into a 3-day weekend. First, I want to say I hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's doing the smart thing and be safe. If you have any comments or you'd like any stocks reviewed, absolutely leave it below the video. I'll get to it as soon as I can, mention it in the next video. As well as, if you like the videos, please do me a favor. It would mean the world to me if you click down and subscribe. Also, you get updates. So we're going to get right into it today. My game plan for today is I'm looking for follow-through. I'm looking for bullish follow-through specifically, and I'll give you all the reasons right now. We'll hop into the charts, and then I'm going to go through, I think it'll be a little bit interesting today to go through a whole list of stocks that meet the criteria, but then we're going to determine whether or not they're actually trading opportunities. And one of the stocks that we've been watching for the last week or so, there are a lot of people that traded from based on emails and whatnot, took a stop loss on it, but then yesterday it actually exploded and gave us hit the alerts, which, by the way, that's an important thing too, having your alert set and your tracking journal, because there's a big difference between getting stopped out on a trade and giving up on the idea versus getting stopped out on the trade and it's not valid anymore. This trade was still valid. We said if it hit a certain criteria, have an alarm set for that. It actually did. And we're going to take a look at that today, plus a bunch of other stocks to look at for the bullish criteria. Now, the big thing is the game plan is for the bullish criteria to follow through. So we're primarily looking at stocks to buy today. Interestingly, though, we have a 2-day trading range in the market. If we follow through, we have room to go. If we break out, come back in, jobless numbers aren't good today, in about 45 minutes, what ends up happening then is we're back into the trading range. The 2-day trading range becomes a 3-day trading range, and all bets are off, and we drop down to the micro time frames. If you want, you could choose to do nothing. Then you'd end up needing to trade just on the shorter time frames, because then technically we'll have an inside day, which invalidates the longer term game plan to hold stocks for the next, however long, weeks or whatnot. So we're going to go straight over the charts, and we're going to take a look at the setup in the market, and then we're going to see why we want to be bullish. Then we're going to rattle off some stocks that we like on the long side. So you can see here, actually, the SPY actually broke the downtrend here on the daily chart, failed immediately, but then got above there again right away. So whether or not the rally follows through, and again, you can see where we're trading pre-market. I'm not going to go off of that because, as you know, I do my numbers on the sevens. I'm looking to build my game plan 7 p.m. at night, coming into the next day to see if anything changed. That is my game plan. If it follows through, great. If it doesn't, that's a part of life. It's a part of trading. So I'm looking for this 2-day trading range to break out. Might not necessarily happen right out of the gate, but I'm looking for follow through here. We can actually take a look at the futures markets and see where we are there as well, just to give us a game plan for where we are out of the gate. Excuse me. So you can see where we closed yesterday. We're not really that far off. We were actually positive. We pulled back again. I'm not going to go crazy over pre-market stuff. I'm actually more concerned with what's going on in the daily charts and setting up our game plan for the daily charts. So that's what's going on in the SPY. The SPY did break. If we trade back in, you're going to have some gray hairs because it's been a confusing 4 or 5 days, despite the fact that the weekly charts are clearly bullish here in the SPY. We'll drop down to the Qs as well. Also well bid in the shorter time frame, and the Dow, same thing. I do have a lot of people asking me whether or not this is a downtrend and a bear flag. You can absolutely make a case for that. Not even a question. But right now, we know that this was nasty news, and this is the current price action. So do we continue to melt higher? I don't know. We'll see. Right now, the charts are telling me that I'm coming into today looking to be a buyer. If we follow through, awesome. I'm going to go over some stocks to watch right now. If we don't follow through, that's trading. You can't do anything about follow through. We can only do what we plan to do. If it follows through, let's make money. If it doesn't follow through, whatever. There's nothing we can do about it. So put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl overalls. Let's start to act like traders, and don't worry about if something we don't plan for happens. If we do our job, we're going to be ready to make money. If we're ready and the market follows through, get in there and print money. Again, print is relative. Don't take that literal. And if we have a game plan and it doesn't, that's a part of what we do, right? But let's go and take a look at some stocks. We have some stocks that meet the criteria to want to be long. And the healthcare stocks specifically had some really good price action yesterday. Now you can clearly see these stocks are in downtrends. But what I do like, if you're starting to read the tape the way I'm teaching you, well bid, right? 1, 2, 3 days in a row with a big candle here, and you can see we're kind of opening neutral. Is this the greatest long in the world right now? No. You can make a case that we're in a trading range here from March 16th till now. We need to get above this range, but I love this change from the open, really monster green candle, following through on the well bid, testing this range, and the sector is strong. We got some nice buying yesterday also in United Health. You can see a little bit cleaner trend line here that we actually just touched and got there. So THC and United Health actually sitting right at those levels. And the stock I was mentioning before was Chewy. Chewy actually was a stock that we were looking at on this rally, expected the failed rally because of the inside candle after the breakout. We were looking to bid 34. You can see it went right through 34. It did not stay there. We were looking for the next day for it to close back above 44 to initiate a new trade. I'll be looking at Chewy, but it's got to be above today's trading range, above yesterday's close, and to look for a spot to bid. We're looking for it to, the original target was for us to get up to the 43 area, so it's still got some room there if it does. So now we're going to get into some other stocks that might be longs, but might necessarily fit the criteria. So again, you can see KBH in a longer term downtrend, and again, drawing trend lines the proper way. You can see that we're actually still not through the trend line. However, I do like this. This is the part that I do like. We have a push up and a pause, a push up and most likely a pause. So if we pause right at this level, I'll be looking for room to go. And you can see the next spot is 36. So you got some room there in KBH. Keep that in your watch list. Another stock that meets the criteria that's not necessarily a long is Wynn, and it meets the criteria because the volume, the average true range, and above the open by 2% yesterday. So a really solid move followed up by this gap here. But again, it's in the middle of this trading range, so not much to do. However, keep it in your tracking journal because above 75, 80 area, then we got some room to go there as well. SQ, Square, has been in the watch list for a few days now too, similar thing, but I like this one a little better because we're actually at the trading range right there. We're going to open a little bit lower, but if we get above this 58 level, I like it up there too. ATH, again, sticking with this same area. What else actually hit the list? FANG has been one that we've been watching as well. So again, not monster obviousness to the, and it doesn't make sense. It's not obvious in the long term that it's bullish, but we do have some really solid, again, push up, pause, push up, and inside candlestick. So we technically have an inside candlestick here looking for a breakout. Lennar is another one because we looked at KBH. We have to say same thing. What you have to like about a lot of the trades that we're looking at right now, whether they follow through or not today, is that they're all doing the same thing. So the home builder stocks are doing the same thing. So when all that money is doing the same thing, you tend to get better follow through. We have the same thing in the healthcare stocks following through. I believe Goldman Sachs, if I'm not mistaken, actually met some criteria as well too. Yeah, so we're looking at potential changes of trend here, but we need to see a little bit more than just one day. Today's game plan is to be bullish, looking for follow through. However, it's only one day, just the first time out of that range. The longer we stay out of this range, the better. What we don't want to see is reversal back into these ranges, and then we're basically kind of in neutral again, dropping down to those micro time frames. I thought it'd be kind of cool to go and take a look at some of the stocks and how they traded yesterday from a percentage change perspective. So obviously we just took a look at Square. We know we need to follow through to get through that. And again, yesterday was a monster day of 13%. That might be hard for it to follow through, but keep it in the tracking journal. That's what we want. We want stocks that are performing well, but might not necessarily have hit the criteria yet. Twitter is not actually as strong. I don't feel as good because we're getting, look at all these indecision candles where they're opening and closing at basically the same price, not seeing the same exact thing, right? United H, we already talked about. Goldman Sachs, we talked about. ExxonMobil and Chevron actually bouncing back from last Thursday's rally and holding so far, which is actually good. So we're about to tell now whether or not this is a short covering rally after this longer term downtrend, which actually started in 2020, or is this new buying? And the way you're going to tell that is, does this retrace back down or does it go sideways? The longer Chevron and Exxon go sideways, the greater the likelihood that we're actually going to start to bounce. So we need to see this go sideways for a few days as well. Boeing is one that's popular, that's Been in a lot of people emailing me about this one because of this one spike and everybody reading they're not going out of business according to the news. Look, the bottom line is it's volatile. It's an inside day today, and I'm looking for an explosion in volatility. If Boeing breaks out of yesterday's really tight consolidation, I'm looking for Boeing to have a good trend day today, up or down, and then looking to hold that into the close. So on the short side, not really a lot to look at yesterday. There were not that many stocks that actually traded negative, and especially because I'm looking for the market to trade long today. You can see Baidu right now actually in a trading range. You can make a case it's trading between 95 and let's say 102.50. I'm not doing anything unless it closes below this level. So I need to see a big red candle. I need to see well offered on the hourly charts. 95 down to let's say 82 would be the trade here in Baidu, but it's got to get below this trading range. Netflix once again cannot get through this 385 level, and now it's actually well offered. I don't like this at all. I'm basically saying this is the same thing. It's kind of trading in a range here. What I really like in Netflix is I want to see it get above here. Oh, by the way, two stocks that are in the news today we want to make sure that we talk about. Starbucks, you can see down 3% right now. They actually, there was a news story that they actually are expecting Q2 sales to be down 50%. That's a big number. So something to keep an eye on today. We might be able to get some tradable days out of this one, maybe even longer than that. We'll keep an eye on that on the weekly charts. And last but not least, Disney, you can see is up 5% pre-market right now because they have hit a milestone of 50 million subscribers in just 5 months, which if you know, we just talked about Netflix. Subscriber growth from earnings report to earnings report is the #1 metric that everybody's looking at. So you can use that same metric when talking about Disney, and looks like we can get some follow through there as well. So keep in mind, my game plan for today is I'm looking for longs. If the longs follow through, be aggressive, be confident if it's doing what it's supposed to do according to our analysis. If it trades higher or stays inside yesterday's trading range and invalidates the game plan heading today, we're kind of back into mush area where you're really going to be frustrated because we're just not getting continuation. So the weekly charts are still bullish. We're still looking for follow through there. As far as the daily charts, we just barely peeked through. So it's kind of the first proof of concept of us starting a new trend. We need to stay there. If we stay there, awesome. We can get some follow through. If we don't, all bets are off and we're kind of back in neutral territory again. So have a great day. Be disciplined. Be safe. If you have any comments, you want to see something reviewed, absolutely leave a comment. If you have any feedback, something you'd like to see me cover that I'm not, the way I'm looking at things, leave that in the comments too. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Be safe this weekend, 3-day weekend. Markets close tomorrow on Friday. Have an awesome day, everybody.